Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a September 1st through 30th reading. This is for water elementals, so that's just water in general, energy, cups energy, the heart's chakra, and we've got water planets, Neptune, the moon, and Pluto. If you're watching this because this is sort of the replacement of my astrological check-ins, and you still want to watch for your signs of various planets in your chart or cross-watching, we have Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces showing up here. So take that as you want, or you could just take this as a weekly reading. It's however the energies call to you, right? Whatever you're focusing on out of those certain aspects. Okay, so we have a sort of a month-long reading. It's more or less timeless. This is just a timestamp for when it came out. If people want to do it by time. It is 2021 as I'm putting this out. It could be for any September of any year that you see after this, and again, it could be one or all of these particular astrological signs. You could be looking at these planets if it's doing something weird in your chart and you want to get some dirt on it, dig a little deeper, get some dirt on it. That's what the water energy, any sort of flowing psychic waters, electricity, anything that's got a waveform to it, something resonant, stuff like that. Cosmic downloads, messages, Akashic records, things like that. And especially because the vision I have of the Akashic record was very watery. And I've got this. Let me pull the Akashic record card from this deck because it looks very similar to how I saw it in my vision dream thing. I just need to find it. I know it's not in there because I already did the readings. Just give me a second. Meanwhile, while I'm looking for this, you can choose a pile or all the piles, because for this month I decided to do pick-a-piles, and the pick-a-piles are all different spreads, I should say the piles are all different spreads, and they're all different topics. These are different topics from the ones I did in the fire reading. So, confusion, something that you're confused about, even if you're confused about what you're confused about, something that doesn't make sense to you, that's really bothering you, just can't seem to, you try to think about it and it's just a dark, thick fog, doesn't make any sense. That's confusion. This is going to be a triptych door. So triptych door reading is like a comparison of two opposites. It's a reading that I offer. And this pile here is, I've called it New Paradigm. So paradigm is such a weird word too, because most words in English that have the I with the G in it have an N on it, like sign. But here it's paradigm. And I used to, I knew the word paradigm, but when I saw it in print, I didn't connect it, so I used to read it as paradigm and not understand that it was actually paradigm, even though I knew paradigm in speaking. Kind of like I used to have a problem with, what was the other one that not a gazebo, but something that's like that I used to have a problem with. Okay, here it is. So the Akashic records in my vision looked really similar to this, which is why I got this deck, because of this card. There's water flowing through them. It's a hallway that's where the records are. In my vision, there wasn't this lower thing, but there were some steps, and there, in this foyer area, there was a golden card catalog, and then in the back there was sort of curtains, and the wind was blowing, and this sort of torrential stuff with rocks. So maybe this is looking at it from the other view, this is where the rocks are. But the Akashic Record, right? Flowing, water, information. So the third, and this one, the new paradigm stuff, is something that, like a dramatic change that's set to come in your life, could be starting already. It's sort of like how to, kind of like what to expect, how to deal with it, like understanding what's being broken away from. That's what that reading is doing, right? Something new. What is it? How do? Orientation, right? It's orientation for something new coming in. And then the other pile here is stress. Like something that's really, 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 really stressing you out. Like, please explain the stress. Help. H-A-L-P, help. So the stress reading is my help me, I can't afford a reading. That's 6 cards. That's what the reading is called. That's what the spread is called that I'm using. It's a 6-card spread. It's 3 cards, 2 clarifiers, and then an oracle card. And I think for all of these readings, I ended up pulling extra cards just because they were being difficult. So, it was sort of like it was a dark and stormy night, and the cards were trying to be difficult, but I did actually finally pull enough teeth here to get some kind of clarity in the messages, and it's just why I pulled some extra cards on top of it, because I'm not going to leave a reading hanging if it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, so that's what's there, and I'll put some timestamps in the description. Just scroll down until you see it. And all the wrap up and the showing the slide of the contact points and how to order stuff is after each segment. So get into that, and then at the very end of the video, I'll put some slides up that show from my WordPress. Just more images of what the readings are that I offer. Alright, so are you dealing with confusion? Are you looking for some kind of orientation into a new thing that's about to happen? Or are you just wicked stressed out? So pick your pile accordingly, or more than one, or all of them, and we'll see you at your chosen timestamp. Alrighty then. Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a water elemental reading for September 1st through the 30th. And if you're still wanting to watch these elemental videos for your astrological signs, you're going to be watching for Pisces, Cancer, and or Scorpio. Okay, so we're looking at what's going on regarding water elemental energy. We've got Pluto, the Moon, and Neptune here, featuring different levels of depth. Right, the Moon on the surface, the Neptunian energy is the deeper water, and the Plutonic energy is like in the Marianas Trench or underground kind of water. So, the water can also pertain to the psychic waters, anything that's resonant, anything that's in a wave form. So we could be dealing with electricity here, cosmic downloads, intuition, and then also the heart, which is emotions. And the topic that for this section that you've chosen, we have confusion. So this is the triptych door reading. I've got the wild unknown archetypes and the wild unknown animal spirit, not animal spirit, the wild unknown tarot. I knew I was going to screw that up when I went to say it out loud too. This is focused back here, so I'm going to have to move the camera just a little bit. Move it down a little bit. So the Wild Unknown Tarot and the archetypes. I do have the animal spirits, but I'm not using this right now. So the triptych door reading has a big door in the center, and usually it's shorter, but here it's just kind of bigger in roundness. I did shuffle these already. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. So the point of this reading, the point of a triptych door is actually the union of two opposites. For this, the topic of this pile is confusion. Like, what are you confused about? It could be something personal, it could be familial or in a relationship, or it could be confusion. That's like 4 cards. I'm not taking 4 cards. Could be like anything going on in the world at large to something you're confused about just in your head. And you could even be confused about what you're confused about. So depending on what comes up, it might help you figure out what the whole thing is in general. And again, we're dealing with water energy. So again, if you're a water planet, water astrological sign, again, that's Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. There might be something particular that's going on. It could also do with like confusion about dreams, confusion about cycles that are trying to be ending, confusion about fears and hopes. There's 2 over there, and that's what I need. So I'm gonna keep those. I'm gonna need one of these ones. I can get it. This round deck is still kind of new, so it's not that easy to shuffle yet. Plus the way that the cards are pressed, there's just a slight, ever so slight, like turn up on this side, and they tend to catch. Okay. Still have a bunch of cards coming out, so I'm gonna, this one's vibing for me. I'm gonna take this one in the middle. I'm gonna put these aside in case I need them after as clarifiers, but I don't want them in unless I have to. This looks like that thing that Luke Skywalker was flying. Pew, pew, pew. So we've got 2 speakers in a hobbit hole here. Let's see what we've got. And again, if you know what you're confused about, where did my label go? What the frig? I think the card took it out. Maybe it went through the crack and fell under the table. My little confusion label disappeared. Oh, is that? There it is. Okay. It's like I want to hide my confusion. What's this over here? The Ace of Swords. Why am I getting... I'm getting ABBA's Gimme, Gimme, Gimme a Man After Midnight, but it was sampled in one of Madonna's songs. I think it was Hung Up. I'm hung up on you. But this is where the confusion was hiding. Getting that like twinkly sound at the beginning. I know these are blurry, but my camera doesn't autofocus, so I've got to keep adjusting it for what I'm trying to look at. So the Ace of Swords, air energy. Now this could be like a truth, or it could be clarity of thought. Like a eureka moment. Like I've got it. But this tag was trying to hide under here. Just hold this up. So you have a sword here, upright, lightning, and then we have this, is that a... There's no head on there, but it's in essence a snake. Snake-skinned infinity with the full rainbow of the chakras. And the blue part here is right over the front. Although technically the green is the heart chakra, but the blue makes me think of water. Like a blue-green hydrated chromic oxide. Sorry, that's from Beetlejuice. Strength inverted, the sun. Although when I get a sun card inverted, it does tell me the moon, so we have some moon energy here. Now, a lot of the times I see strength inverted, it tells me weakness. I'm getting an infinity symbol here as well. I reckon that car was going at least 15 miles over the speed limit. I'm noticing this rose here. But it's also like I'm tired. Right? Like I don't have the strength. Like I'm just exhausted. I also just heard don't go chasing waterfalls. This is not... Why aren't you all in focus at the same goddamn time? Being difficult. Okay. We're just going to pretend that's in focus. What does a lion inverted mean, though? Exposed, like an exposed belly. You know when you pet a cat and they want tummy scritches, but they only want it like 3 times in a certain way, and then they get frisky and try to bite your hand? It's not quite bite the hand that feeds you, but it's like limited exposure. Like limited... Is docility a word? A limited time frame for being docile. But I'm also getting like fatigued. And also, again, it's trying to bring me moon energy. But I'm seeing these infinities here too. And also, like the confusion, which makes me think, because I was listening to, I think it's Genesis and not Phil Collins by himself, the Land of Confusion song. Like too many people fighting too many problems with too many solutions or something like that. Like I don't have the energy. I'm too tired to go chasing after every possibility just to find the truth. But also there's the moon aspect is that it's sort of like daunting. Like, this is a nightmare. Like, I don't even have the energy to get started. So let's look at this middle card here. The Castle. Okay. So these pearls making a border around the castle. And we have more pearls on this eye. And this rose here that the lion had in its mouth. So the castle can be defensive, but it can also be a prison. And we have this green energy, that heart chakra energy. The castle is the seat of the king. The lion is the king of the jungle. It's getting like your princess is in another castle. This is supposed to be... I mean... Oh, it's like giving me like a knight. The Knight of Swords. Right? The lion is the king. The king is in the castle. And who holds the sword but the king? So it's like there's something that's like a fundamental reality, whether, like, no matter who is in the castle. So we might, I mean, there might be somebody, this lion figure, this weak figure, might be... It's like, it's giving me doomsday prophet energy in opposition to the truth. This Ace of Swords card is existing in darkness. I'm also getting like a dungeon energy. But also this princess energy too. Let me see what these other two cards were that we're trying to stick up to that one. The comic with a cat on it. And the unseen. Which it looks like it's made for somebody who's colorblind. So the confusion is that the ultimate truth is unseen. Moon energy is stuff that's hidden. This comic, I want to put this rainbow right here, but it feels like this cat, right? It's like the king is a clown. You know, it's like an unseen with this eye closed here. What does that mean? Let me see what's on the bottom of the other deck. This is only supposed to be 3 cards, but these triptych doors have been really challenging lately for me. 7 of Cups. This is the illumination. I have the sun and the moon here, which was over here. Upright, it's distraction and confusion. If this was inverted, we'd get that illumination of what the real cup is. So there is an idea here that the situation is chaotic and that the only true discernment in order to have movement, 7, is to not be distracted by this sort of circus nature of things. This does seem to be applying to the global situation, and in particular 2020. But just because there's something that's in a template that's global doesn't mean there aren't smaller versions of it. You know, this very well, it very well could be just something personal or in a relationship. I'm going to see if there's anything else I want to say about this. There's deeper meanings to these cards, but I don't want to be reading the book right now. I just want to get an impression from the energy of the cards themselves. This is a house cat. This isn't a lion. This is something that's been domesticated and reduced in size from basically from the king to the court jester. The court, I mean, the comic is also someone who's able to tell the truth. Notice how we have all these chakra colors here. Someone who's able to tell the truth in a biting and comedic manner can often get the information across better than being told in a serious manner. It can make the truth more palatable. It's like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a way that somebody just dictating to you might not. And I know that that doesn't seem to make much sense, but I will point out that I got a lot of my political news from The Daily Show. For a good couple years when I was living in my apartment. That was a while ago now, but I still find that there's a lot of real understanding to be had when things are presented in a comedic manner. It sort of loosens the hold that you have on a certain position by ridiculing it. to say that if you take everything so seriously, you have no room to open up to new viewpoints and more facts. This is sort of the distractions of the daily life, and everyone's going this way, right? Society marches this way, and in order to blow out the stampede of opposition to saying, wait a minute, what if it's like this isn't this? There's something not stirring the Kool-Aid here. While it doesn't, it's confusing me as to why this is. Well, the forces that are possibly out of alignment need that comedic approach to sort of rattle the glasses here, to be essentially to beat the grass to startle the snakes. Then they can see, wait a minute, it's this way. So there's a couple of different things. It looks like there's a demotion, but it also looks like there's a trickster energy in order to open up something that's being gate kept. Why am I confused? Because someone's gatekeeping the reality of what's going on. They're trying to relegate everything in the castle. Notice there's green and pink here. To the unseen, right? It's what's going on in there? Don't worry about that. Worry about, just pay attention to the, follow the bead under the cup. But this, I'm too tired to deal with it anymore. I can raise my energy by making a joke. In that way, this comic relief to something that's exhausting and a nightmare changes the energy. It breaks open the drawbridge to this castle, to the unseen world. It's this is when you make something so stupid, it creates these endorphins in the brain. It brings down the anxiety and the cortisol and the stress reaction, and then the clarity comes out of that darkness, right? This is the electric shock here is sort of like the punchline of the joke. It's that direct hit frequency change from anger, stress, depression, apathy, disaster, to what is the actual truth in a situation. And, if you're dealing with global trauma, or you're dealing with localized trauma or personal trauma, it might be well, that's easy for you to say. I'm not just going to laugh at my wounds. But in some way, the comic energy can disarm the ego itself. So the confusion here is a blockage to the truth, but the secret weapon to break through the distraction, this sort of booby trap that's keeping what you're trying to figure out unseen. This is this comedic energy is sort of the gateway to what you're trying to find out. All right, so that's it for that reading. Again, Triptych Door is supposed to be 3 cards, but it needed more explanation. And I'm lucky I only got 3 of these because 4 of them tried to drop out in the beginning. And also, this is a very watery thing, right? We're talking about something that's murky. And comedy is actually a very emotional thing. What noise even is laughter? It's like an involuntary thing that can shift you into, basically into happiness. It can it might not make you happy for the rest of your life, but it can shift your mood. And mood has to do with emotional content. If you can diffuse a problem that's upsetting you, that's confusing you, that doesn't make sense in some way, this comic relief energy is a way to disrupt emotions of angst and anger and frustration. It allows this exhaustion energy to go around the loop again and pick up more speed. It gives that like energy kick. All right, so that's it for the confusion part. If you still want information, I have all kinds of other readings that you can get, or you can pick one of the other piles in this reading. And if you... The list of the readings that I offer is going to be down below in the description box. Look at this. Okay, so you can get a personal reading. It's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. Or if you found this helpful, I would encourage you to energy exchange, donate, hit that tip jar. And I have actual art items. A lot of them are going to be like so. I do have non-psychedelic stuff as well. Some portraits and fashion designs and animals and things like that. So that's Cafe Press, DeviantArt, and Etsy. There's a coupon code there for Etsy. 3 or more items, 17% off. If you're working through those anger emotions and you're not quite ready to have the lulls, I have some dark poetry here. And then also, to help with relaxation, I've got coloring books. And that's all through my Linktree, linktr.ee/catdominion. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye. Alright, if you chose the second pile here, New Paradigm, we're dealing with a situation where it's something new coming in, something that's different than before. It is this energy of like being a noob, right? Like, I don't know how I'm not settled in this way yet. It's different than what's been happening before. And again, this is water energy, and this is September 1st through 30th. So we've got Neptune, the moon, and Pluto here. We've got Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces if you're watching for your astrological sign, for whatever planet or cross-watching and so on. I'm like gagging all of a sudden. So I'm a little bit out of it right now because I just had to clean up an unexpected and really gross mess. But I also got almost all the way done with this reading, and I had my card only does 20 minutes at a time, my camera. So I had the segment run out on me, and when I went back to see where I left off, and it had already been like 2 hours since I was reading the earlier part of the reading, I had only recorded like the first third, and instead of trying to get back into it, I figured I'd just do a whole new reading, because it's the people watching this video, you guys won't know that it wasn't the same thing. So I don't know if the same cards are going to come out or not. I did like re-clear and reshuffle these decks, so I've got this Gilded Reverie Lenormand. Right now it's the only Lenormand that I've got. And then I've got my combined deck of Work Your Light Oracle and Starseed Oracle. So I just reshuffled these again, just do them a little bit more. So the 9-grid Lenormand, which is what this new paradigm reading is going to be, is, you know, a square, although because these cards aren't square, it ends up being more of a rectangle. But it's 9 cards tiled 3 by 3, and then I get an oracle card. Seems like I don't know if I really need like 110 cards to get one, but that's the deck that called to me, so that's the one that I took. I'm not allowed to separate these decks. It's my higher self and its friends will yell at me, so got an angel with a hazel switch watching over me that tells me I'm not allowed to separate those. And then I've got these. So let me get the grid going here. I'm kind of bummed too, because I felt I have a deadline for this video, and I really wasn't feeling like doing it. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And maybe it's just because I was feeling overwhelmed with stuff going on in the day-to-day. 2, 3, 4, no, 6, 7. But I was feeling like I really didn't want to do this. And it might just be because I did a pick a pile for this month, but we'll see. Flip that back over and mix the... I'm going to hold those so they don't get blown out by this. I don't know, I sound like I'm really out of it right now. I'm still jet lagged from multiple emergencies and 3 days of tropical depression followed by 3 days of excessive heat, and it's been one of those days for many days in a row, and weird stuff going on with my feet, so I don't know. There we go. But I want to do the reading, but also it's like I don't want to do the reading. But I'm doing the reading. I also feel like when I have resistance to doing a reading, there's usually some heavy-duty stuff that comes out, and the reading takes a long time. So this sort of like my inner child is like, I don't want to do it, I want to play. But I'm like, well, if I record the reading, it takes like 6 hours for the segments to combine, so that gives me plenty of time to, unlock another character in the Binding of Isaac Repentance, or, work on my Barbie files, or actually finish my painting, or finish my advertising slides, but we'll see. We'll see. This is another reason why I had stopped shuffling out on camera for a while, is because I tend to ramble. Get a position here. Okay, so new paradigm. So something that's coming in that we don't... I guess this is in the challenge position. When I was doing the reading before, a lot of the cards were inverted. The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits and Soul Tribe. Okay, so here's this card. Not even sure where this is focused. I should probably put it down here. Kind of a weird angle, but at least I can see whether it's in focus or not. The Great Gathering. Okay, so in the challenge position, this is... Okay, that's a work your light. So, this is really... There's like a portal back here, and these mountains look like a castle. They look like pillars of salt. They also look like they're being beamed down. It's like everything's starting to materialize. Apparently the new paradigm is to be less alone. Or to have a thing where... I'll just use an example. Everybody seems to have like ancestral family trauma, your family curse, whatever you want to call it. There's just this idea that there's shadow and karmic energy, certain lessons that repeat over and over in the family line, whether it's epigenetically programmed into the DNA, or that you tend to incarnate with your soul tribe in families, and you just kind of leapfrog each other working on the same issue over and over again, or it's something that you have to resolve personally but you haven't, and you're born, like I'm born in this life, and I'm like, okay, I understand what the issues are in my family line, right? Like maternal trauma and certain other things. So, and I'm thinking, well, you know, this parent and that parent seem like they're not doing the work, and my grandparents didn't do the work, and their parents probably didn't do the work either. So I'm like, why is it all on me? How come I'm the one that has to do this? This isn't fair. That's, you know, hundreds and thousands of years of ancestors funneling down to a single point. I'm like how come I have to be the one to be like, hey, wait a goddamn second, like, and I felt very alone, and you know, we had a death in the family, and it was sort of understood that that family member, even in the 3D before they died, it was sort of like we both wanted this sort of resolution of family trauma, and my relative, similar age to me, passed, and it was sort of understood that they were on the other side working with our ancestors, because they needed help there. And for me, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not all by myself. And then I learned basically after that, like a couple years after that, I had learned that it was, I'm like paranoidally itchy from dealing with gross stuff. I had learned a couple years after that that you don't have to solve every single thing in your family history. It's kind of a catch-22 because your issues are based on your parents' issues, based on their parents' issues, and so on. But you sort of have this focus of, no, it's all about me. I need to work on the shadow that exists within me. And it sets up this chain reaction that changes the energy, and it pushes it backwards and kind of snowballs it backwards in time. Because you're not just changing the future, you also end up sort of changing the past. It's kind of like if you didn't like your memory, so you rewrote it. You're like, but you still kind of had a memory of how it was like in reality. It's not like you're going to trick yourself into remembering that, you know, something abusive was fine. That's not the point. It's like I've gone in and like virtual reality'd my way through the memory and played a different character so that it diffused the situation, right? It's like I'm no longer going to be a small child that's being like kicked in the head. I'm going to go in as myself now and, you know, snap that person's leg off before it hits my face. And although that's sort of a violent, like, code rewriting, it's a sort of a base example of what that does. So this gathering, the soul tribe, that's the energy. I don't have to do it all by myself. It's not like, oh, I need new friends because these friends suck. You're not really an island, and you don't have to do all the work for everybody. That's kind of the whole point of me talking about all of that. Okay, so let me flip these over before I try to read them. Just try to not get into it too much. So we have the masks. This is the one that flipped over as I was bringing them out. So this is an extra card in this extended version deck. It's got major arcana energy. Is that focused there? Not really. So, okay. The masks. 40, so perhaps the Emperor with 0, perhaps the Fool, and then 4 tens, which would be 4 wheels. There's a sun and the moon there too. So this is the fish. The fishes. Inverted 34. King of Pentacles. Right there in the corner. So 3 and 4 could be the masculine and the feminine, the Empress and the Emperor. We've got Pentacles here. So it could be 3 Pentacles, it could be 4 Pentacles, or it could be 7 Pentacles, but they're inverted. So we'll get to that in a minute. Really, I don't think I've ever done all the right row before, the right column by itself before when I've opened these. So we have 3 by itself. That's that possibly the Empress number, but I see 10 swords here in the corner. This is the ship, ships plural. The ship it was inverted. So we have 10 of swords inverted with that 3 number. It's like going the opposite way of that bigger fish. I'll go this way. Okay. So we have the birds inverted, 7 Pentacles, number 12. There's 2 different birds cards in this deck. One of them is owls and this one is birds. These ones are more gossipy, like Twitter and TikTok and all that. The rumor mill. So 12, so we have possibly the Hanged Man, possibly the High Priestess and the Magician, possibly the Empress. But we have Pentacles, so it could be 12. It could be the Knight of Pentacles. It could be 3 Pentacles or 1 and 2 Pentacles. Inverted. Could be impatience. Okay, so here's the alternate man. He came out in the one that I had to delete, and in the last Lenormand I did, which was for fire. Because I was doing the same format for fire, and then I realized that I need to start my series at the beginning of the month, so I'm probably going to be doing this same pick a card thing for the next fire, which is going to be 21st of September. Just because I kind of messed up in my timing and I need to go around the loop again. So the alternate man, because there's a regular man in this deck and he's one of the extra cards. So we have Emperor energy, Aries energy, Ace of Cups, so we have possibly Cups up here too, 8 or 10, and then we possibly have High Priestess, Strength or Justice, and the Wheel possibly. So he's inverted, looking kind of cranky. Clock's inverted. Okay, this came out like this in the reading that I had to scrap. Or was it inverted? Yes, it was. So 37, this is an extra card, so it's breaking, it's really just kind of major arcana. The Empress, 7, the Chariot, breaking down to 10, which is the Wheel. And this card looks like how Pink Floyd's Time sounds at the beginning. All kinds of clocks. We got owls, we got a rooster, we got some other bird, we got a candle with little hours marked on it, we got an hourglass, cuckoo clock, some kind of sundial, and like a other thing, and various clock gears and stuff. So this is inverted. Time standing still, perhaps. Or all that history. So this is the woman, the regular woman, and she's inverted. She has the Ace of Swords. 29. So we have 2 swords, 9 swords, possibly 11 swords, which would be the Page. And then we have possibly the High Priestess and the Hermit. I'm leaning more towards those major arcana. But we do have swords here, inverted. Okay, so we have the moon. So the reading I scrapped, the moon came up inverted, but here it's upright. So we have 32 breaking down to 5. So we have 8 of Cups, so it could be 3 cups, 2 cups, 5 cups. Or it could be High Priestess and Empress and Hierophant. We have this swirly thing down here too, that's like a clock. And the moon phases, which is like a clock. This one was inverted in the reading I had to scrap though. So we have the mountain inverted. 8 of Wands. 21 breaking down to 3. So this is the same as that one that was 12. The birds, which it's right next to. But this is wands, so it could be 21 wands, which is a hell of a lot. It could be the world, because that's 21. It could be 2 wands, it could be the ace of wands, it could be 3 wands, it could be the empress, the high priestess, or the magician. Just numerically. So the mountain, the deer down here in the corner. I'm gonna get over it. Okay, so this is kind of a challenging reading too. And I kind of feel like the stuff that's going on in this is similar. Let me get these kind of in pretend focus again. That's probably as close as they're going to get. So we do see time, moon phases. The moon changes shape over time. I have time inverted. It's all coming together, which does have kind of an essence of time. And then we have travel, which is time as well. Because distance and time, and what is it? Something equals distance over time. I don't remember what it is, though. It's been 20 years since I had physics in high school. Okay. Distance and time. Is that acceleration? Ah, it's acceleration. Distance and time, and it's acceleration. So things are starting to like turn up. It's a vector. Acceleration. Everything here looks like it is at a standstill, though. There's this, when these are inverted, it tells me confusion or delay. But here everything looks paused. And again, I got that with the reading I had to scrap. Time standing still. There's a pause in action. We're taking a snapshot of the moon at this position. Somewhere between the new moon and the full moon. So let me look at where that is in September. Oh, the new moon's on the 7th. So we have the 7 here. What's the 7 of Pentacles? Look at my sheet. 7 of Pentacles. Okay, that was... 7 of Pentacles was Taurus energy, so that was not entirely what I was looking for, but there was some of that over here with that possible Hierophant energy. So... Oh, and then the full moon is on the 20th in Pisces. And I don't have 20. It came out in the reading that I had to scrap. But I'm looking at this 8, and I'm looking at the 32, and I'm adding it together, and I get 40, which is 2 20s. And I'm like, okay, so 2 judgments. But it's not when the moon is full, and it's not when it's new moon. It's, what is it called? The first quarter and the third quarter. So... Judgment on the first quarter moon, judgment on the third quarter moon. And it's like... it's in between those 2 phases, right? In between the nothing, the new moon, and in between the full moon when there's something, like, about to be born. So we're looking at this in-between time, right? The new moon... is blackness, right? There's nothing there. It's the menstruation, it's the letting go, it's the death, it's the blackness, it's the shadow. And that would be the new moon is the purging of that which has gone before, right? It's like the family curse. And the full moon is the new paradigm itself. It's what the reading is about, like what's coming in, what's new and exciting, what's happening, what's changing, what's different. You know, what like that which is so unfamiliar, the sort of shift, the clarity, it's like going to college. It's so different than living at home and going to high school. You're in a different environment. You're fending for yourself. You realize that, all of your insecurities and quirks, nobody really gives a shit because they're so involved in themselves. Everything that was, so trivial and and like could ruin your whole life in high school. You go to college and like nobody really cares. They're just trying to get sleep after a hangover and get laid and not fail their classes. That's about it. So, and it's also different from like going to school and going to the workforce. It's different from being repressed and then feeling in your own power. It's different from feeling, living on one coast to living on another coast. It's, different between not having a child and having a child, between not having your own business and having your own business. There's a lot of things that are like, it's almost like polar opposites, but it's like a Pandora's box. It's Sunday will never be the same. Okay. Everything changes. But this sort of bouncing between judgment to judgment in the in-between phases is like making a judgment call, and judgment is sort of like closing a chapter on things. It's like you finish the course, you don't have to retake it next semester, and then at the end, right, one semester judgment, second semester judgment, and then the idea is graduation, which is the new paradigm. You're moving off to a whole different point in your life. And I know there's examples that aren't just like school and college based, but that's gotta kind of use the examples that I'm trying to, like between being an apprentice and being a partner, between being an intern and actually getting paid to work somewhere. That's the kind of thing. Being the FNG, the fucking new guy, or the boss, the manager. Okay. Getting a promotion. That kind of stuff. Or just dumping a load of stress. Like, everything in my life sucks, and then I finally get this lump of whatever it is that I need, and now there isn't constant terror in my life. That kind of stuff. I've got to keep watching the camera because I almost kept talking and only lost a couple of minutes. I was going to say that this double moon thing makes me think of the 2 moons in Aquarius, 2 full moons in Aquarius, July and August. But September, it's in Pisces. And we do see Piscean energy coming up. 8 of Cups, I believe, is Pisces energy as well. Yeah. Saturn and Pisces. So, what have we got here? We've got this in-between time. It's interesting because there's cards that suggest stuff that's good, but also stuff that isn't happening. Right? Wearing a mask. Like, are you this, are you that, or are you taking a different path entirely? The real situation that has to be faced in the in-between time between the past situation and the new thing is, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, which mask, like, have you been oscillating between 2 extremes to be what people expect you to be, or are you going to go right through the middle and sort of carve your own new pathway between these 2 possible things? The new paradigm is what's sitting between extremes, basically. They're sort of in alignment waiting to happen, especially with the Emperor attached to the Fool, 4-0. King of Pentacles inverted is like, I can't get no satisfaction. Like, my material world is failing. This fish card is abundance, and there's lack of abundance here. With like something's not coming. Now what's weird is that this mountain here and this ship here look like they go together. The mountain inverted with the ship inverted. You know, this would be, I'm flying over the mountain, my struggles are ending, things are happening, but the Ten of Swords upright still indicates some kind of pain. Here, it's like I'm ending my pain, Eight of Wands, but things are coming in slowly. It's like I can't get over this mountain, but with it inverted, it makes me think of, like, a submarine. Especially because I just saw this terrible old movie. It's like The Land That Time Forgot. It was awful. Crap movie. And they took a submarine into like an underground cave system to come up in a lake. But this one, it's like underground caves, a cavern, deep underground, and Pluto is that deep underground water. We're looking upside down at the fishies. The Seven of Pentacles usually tells me impatience, but I also get this idea of things not growing, things not manifesting. You know, everybody said, oh, things will happen just fine, you gotta wait a little bit. Or this idea of, like, everybody telling me which way to go and which way to be, right? Some of them say do this, some of them say do that, and, you know, I'm hopping from one foot to the other. Meanwhile, like, I can't swallow anything, but maybe this new thing that's coming in is something I can finally swallow. You know, like I'm choking on it. The fish inverted, that's poison. Toxic, something very toxic. Right? What do you see when the water is effed up? You see fish floating, like floating upside down. Like an oil spill. Like a hurricane water. Boats all akimbo. Like a shipwreck. Shipwrecked on unmarked rocks, or like an island, that like a volcanic thing that just throws up a new chunk of island. There's one I think that came up somewhere near, I want to say near Iceland in like 1969 or something. I feel like that happened, but I can't remember the exact details, so it sounds like I'm making it up. But I know I read about it somewhere, probably in National Geographic. But again, that could also be wrong. Finding as I get older that there's a lot of stuff I just don't remember. Garbage in, garbage out. Looking at these two with this diagonal, and I feel like they're kind of looking at each other, but she's averting her eyes. I'm just saying she because that's what's on the card. It's masculine and feminine energy. Truth inverted, emotional truth inverted. These readings are really challenging. I can't get much out of them. I don't know if it's me. If I'm like rusty. Let me look at the diagonals. I saw this diamond here. The moon can be like, I want to be famous in the Lenormand. In regular tarot, it's like secrets and secretions and fears, anxiety, and things that are hidden. I'm getting kind of like ulterior motives here. Eight of Cups is walking away from that which doesn't serve you. The moon is looking away from the reading. And if I attach it to this gossip here, These people chattering in your ear, ulterior motives. That's the poison in the system, right? Pentacles, pentacles. And the time that's attached to this diamond shape where those are existing is, it's like it's, the time is past. The time is, you know, like I hit the snooze button. I turned off my alarm clock. I'm waking up to it. The clock isn't on anymore. It's like, you might be right, but you're only right twice a day, mofo. This energy here in this pentagonal looks like dice here. This 5 on the dice. And like this compression coming into this inverted masculine. This is depression. Avoiding, like intentionally avoiding your heart's desire because of wearing a mask. Not having an open, not having a constructive, emotional, and or truthful dialogue between the masculine and the feminine. Lack of movement, but 10 of Swords is pain. The Sun in Gemini, but it's inverted. It's bringing moon energy. An 8 of Wands is like stagnation, inverted like that. No communication, no movement. This mountain is, this is like a roadblock. I mean, it could be that cavern, but it also could be a roadblock, right? Because sometimes the cards will sort of like hologram between different meanings. Right? Just because I say 2 different things for one card in a meaning doesn't mean that neither or both of them are true. Looking at this row, though. I see 7, 8, and 10, but there's no 9 there. Right? We're trying to progress, but we're skipping a step. But I don't want to address the nightmare because I don't want to have any pain. So I'm not gonna look at 9 swords. I'm gonna skip to 10 and flip it over because I don't have time for the pain. I don't have time for the pain. However that song actually goes. Looking at this column. I just heard loose lips sink ships. That's what this is right here. Loose lips sink ships. Roadblock. Loose lips sink ships. Loose lips sink fish. Loose ships sink fish. But this is how you're supposed to be. This looks like kind of renegade energy. Distorted masculine. Wanting to get out of emotional distress. It's this one. Cuckoo clock. Cuckoo birds. I'm getting like sabotage, where it's like somebody's in the past trying to get something started and other people undoing it either via gossip or pentacles, physically intent to harm. Like manifestation, not just mind games, but like physically causing a problem. You know, like poking a hole in your tire, or putting sand in your sandwich, or like eye drops in your water, that kind of stuff. In the underworld. This one is reading a book, and she's stopped and she's daydreaming. And is sort of caught in a moment. Just sort of out of time. This is kind of a dream world. And from the dream world point of view, the mask is coming off. This is like, I feel like I'm drowning. I have no sustenance. Emotional emptiness or intentional separation from the heart's fulfillment causes, it's sort of, you can't be the emperor if you don't have the King of Pentacles. You have to have all four kingdoms. But inverted, this distortion is like, it's not even emotionally unavailable. It's like emotionally empty. But it's creating a physical issue. But this, it's making me feel like notoriety. It's like, in order to stop drowning, you have to come on shore, because the Eight of Cups is always the 8 cups on the shore. It's like having all the 8 cups tied to your ankles and fall, and like with lids on them weighing you down. And you have to sort of crawl to shore and then dump them out for some reason. This gathering, intuitive hits and soul tribe, is in sort of a standstill, and it might be because new people are not trusted because the old people were not trustworthy. I'm gonna get a couple more cards. Like this for the feminine. I want this one for the... No, do I want... Yeah, I guess I'll take that one for the masculine. And I'm gonna get one more of each for them as well. Oh, I kind of want to find out more of what's going on with those birds, too. Birds. Whoa. Jesus Christ. Okay. This is way more cards than this reading is supposed to have. But it wasn't making much sense. So. Oh, there we go. Cross. Guilt. Guilty. Probably the masculine energy feels guilty and like they're supposed to suffer instead of coming together with their soul tribe. This feminine up here could be part of their soul tribe. It might not necessarily even be a romantic relationship. Right? It's saying, I view you as different than me. You know, like, I'm black, you're white, I'm red, you're green, I'm hot, you're cold, you know, I'm cheesy, you're original, I'm light and you're dark. It's like you and like feminine, masculine are sort of opposites, and it's like I need to be able to work with this energy, but I feel guilty in that I'm supposed to suffer without my soul tribe. That's what that is. And it's coming from the masculine energy. And again, it could be a relationship, but it could be an internal thing that you're battling between your own feminine and your own masculine, but they're both in distortion right now. So it's sort of, you know, if the shoe fits. Now over here with this feminine energy, I have Imrama, where are you being called to journey to? And she's daydreaming. She's traveling in the 5D. And also apparently taking some chances here. Rolling the dice. In that, there's movement. There is movement in that. It's also a little bit like the Two of Wands. Alright, so this masculine here, inner earth, but it's inverted. You'll survive this new solutions and beginnings. But there's a resistance to that. And we see that. It looks like the mountain inverted again. There's a cavern, and we're dealing with water energy and this earth energy. King of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. This is that place in the friggin' movie that was craptastic that I watched. This is the lake inside of Antarctica, and they had to come up underneath it with the ship. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're surviving. There's a resistance to this new paradigm. And we see this. Ace of Wands now. We've got 3 aces and they're all inverted on this board. 25, which breaks down to 7, which could be the Chariot energy. But we have the High Priestess and the Hierophant energy. Or perhaps 2 Wands, 5 Wands, and 7 Wands. Inverted. This ring has to do with contracts. It could also be about marriage, but it could be business as well. It could be like a recording contract. It could be a work contract. And these birds over here are people that are vying for the same promotion. You know, they're you know, microaggressions, talking shit to the boss, that kind of stuff. Or again, just putting eye drops in your water and giving you diarrhea. Don't do that. So this ring, inverted. But it does kind of, this looks like a ring also. Loop-de-loop. So typically Ace of Wands inverted is like a not trusting the gut feeling. It's, oh, speaking of diarrhea, Ace of Wands inverted. Closed solar chakra, lack of self-confidence. 2 Wands, trying to make a choice. Here, it's like you don't have a choice. 5 Wands is combat. Here, it's like I stop fighting something, right? Stop fighting the solution. Stop fighting the new beginning, right? Judgment, facing Judgment Day. 7 Wands is standing up for what you believe in, or like not letting somebody in emotionally. Here, it's letting your guard down when it's inverted. Or the fact that there's like such a drop in confidence, it's like maybe I don't even know what to stand up for anymore. It's like it seems like not trusting anybody, basically. No contracts. Nobody gets in. That kind of thing. So with these birds here, it says the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. And it's also this birch switch. This can be like an attack, like aggression against you. It's coming in with Page of Wands energy. 11, but it's inverted. The way that I'm seeing it, it goes 12 and then 11. There's a countdown. 12, 11, and then this 10 here. like a countdown to liftoff, like waiting to be okay to go, like Jodie Foster in Contact. It's sun energy with a portal in it. It almost feels like these people that are sort of have been against you in the past, this again, the microaggressions, with the sabotage, with the mind games, it's all about it's kind of like, it's a little bit like trickster energy, but it's sort of like this abuse is over, especially with the birds card inverted, and then this birch is inverted too. Inner child tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. It's kind of like this is sort of there to kind of assault the ego. It's like a humilifier instead of a humidifier. And it's not to say that you have to sit there and take it because it's good for your inner child, because it's not really, but I feel like this crap is able to open you up, and this golden children has more to do with these people coming in. It's a gateway to this place. Like, the reason that it caused you so much trauma is because you came in as an innocent, right? You came in as like a star seed. I mean, whatever. Everybody's galactic, I think. All right, coming through this gateway from the sun, filled with all this, like, intent, creative energy. Come to the world, grow up, do your work, be jaded AF, right? Jaded as fuck. Told that whether you're male or female, you're supposed to be masculine, and the only way to get your heart's content is to make sure you can get as much stuff as you possibly can so that you have more things than other people, and that's how all you're supposed to do in the physical. And eventually you become jaded and be like, nothing is working out, why is everything I have crap, and now I'm depressed. You know, it creates this, it's very jaded. And and this lack of trusting people. But it's sort of like, you have to remember this kind of the inner child in there, and that does go back to these family curses, right? Because if you're in this place where you've taken on the toxic energy of the family, which could be the birds, could be family, it doesn't have to be though. It kind of preps the inner child for toxicity out in the world, and it just ends up being like more jaded, and you come out with, it's like the family curse, family trauma that's sort of in your position to heal ends up being like the flavor of how you deal with society at large. Like, you know, if you have family trauma type A, when you go out into the world, you're going to have like cherry flavored encounters. And if you know how to eat cherries, you like cherries, you're able to process cherries in your system, that might be good for you. But if you think they're gross and you choke on the pit and it makes you sick to your stomach, then you're going to end up depressed and not trusting anybody. Whereas somebody with trauma B might go out and they might have like pumpkin spice flavored trauma happen to them out in the world, or, you know, trauma C, go out and you have grape flavored trauma come at you. That's the kind of thing. It's so there's like a preset that sort of knocks your inner child out and comes in, you're like, okay, now I have to solve this problem too. There's a double thing going on here. And it's kind of like the new paradigm is realizing that you do have help, and there are certain people and entities out there that you can trust, that you don't have to feel guilty for having help or for needing somebody, and you don't have to, suffer because of how things have happened, right? So there's a uniqueness to people where whatever gift or talent they might have is useful for the energy of the planet in general and for whatever you're trying to do with yourself. This tenderness and innocence means to sort of be a little bit more open even to yourself. So that's what's going on with this reading. In terms of relationship, it's kind of it does look like there might be a love relationship involved, but again, it could just be, resolving within yourself so that you're able to go out and meet with other people, or just saying like, oh, you're different than me, but you seem different than me, but we're part of the same team. Like, maybe I can trust you because we're like puzzle pieces. Right? We're not Mentos and Coke, we're peanut butter and jelly. We're going to get together and it's going to work. Okay. So hopefully that made sense to some people. If you want to get more reading about that, I'd probably suggest my life purpose reading, because it does have spaces for future elements, for upcoming stuff. And it does look at the past a little bit more as well. But this sort of explains... It kind of explains what to be on the lookout for in whatever's new and coming in. That it's more of a interaction than it is of a stuff. But certainly aligned interactions will help with manifesting abundance in terms of people, resources, food, money, energy, and so on. Okay, so look at this here. If you do want to get a reading to clarify more, because I don't do extendeds, it just doesn't work for me. It's kind of like how the norm for families for the last 25 years has been timeouts, and that shit never made sense to me. So I don't do extendeds. But I would encourage you to purchase a reading from me for yourself. The list is going to be down underneath there, and this is not the right... This is the right one. The list is down underneath there in the description box. So I have a bunch of different kinds of reading. Again, the life purpose reading might work better if you were looking to get more stuff from this. If you can't afford that, I do have less expensive readings. If you found this helpful and you want to energy exchange, donate, hit that tip jar. It's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. You can email me if you want to get a reading down here. I have coloring books, dark poetry, merch, prints, actual art items. There's a coupon code here for Etsy, 17% off 3 or more items, and social media. Everything's through the link tree, so if you go through the link tree to get to Etsy, that coupon code should pop in at the top. I think that's it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye. Alright, if you chose the stress pile, this is for you. So we've got September 1st through 30th, and we've got stress, and we've got water elementals. So we've got Neptune, the moon, and Pluto energy. If you're watching or cross-watching for astrological signs, I've got Scorpio and Cancer and Pisces. So the hell am I even doing? Just kind of out of it right now. I'm still trying to get these done. It might actually make me channel better. I just wanted to get those in there. My brain to anything meter is all, like, not even working today. So the reading that I'm doing for stress is the same format as my $9 help me I can't afford a reading. So I've got 3 cards that are typically in a tell me a story. I mean, it could be past, present, future. It doesn't have to be, but usually just tell me a story. And then I've got 2 cards underneath for clarifying, and then I have an oracle card for further information, wrap-up advice, and or review. So the oracle I've got is a Blessed Be deck by Lucy Cavendish. All the cards have blessings on them. It's like an oracle deck. And then for the tarot, although I could use oracle cards instead of tarot if I felt like it, I've got crap on my shirt. I'm using the Syrian Starseed Tarot. Mine is trimmed, so if you buy one, you'll have an extra couple millimeters of white all the way around. These are like a plastic cardstock. They're pretty crispy. They're hard to shuffle. They're still hard to shuffle, but not quite as bad now that I've got them trimmed. These are about the same size. I did clear and shuffle them off camera, but I'm going to shuffle them a little bit more just to get going. I feel like I totally mangled the intro to this segment, but, you know. I don't drink coffee, so you kind of get what you get. Which reminds me, speaking of caffeine, I forgot to get my Flintstones vitamins at the store today, and I also forgot to get some more Midol just in case. Not because I need it right now, but because I don't have any, and it really comes in handy during Shark Week. Or if I desperately need caffeine and I also want an antihistamine at the same time. Always makes me think of Ron White talking about putting the pills in a block of cheese. Good stuff. Okay. I don't normally take cards right off the top, but that's how I'm feeling it right now. Just for funsies, to keep myself entertained, so I don't get bored. Okay. I guess this one, since it's already sliding off of there. So these ones are kind of plasticky too, so it'll take a minute to shuffle back in. Okay, so what do we got here? Let me make sure these are in the frame and pretend focused. Focus! It's a focus group. 9 out of 10 ophthalmologists. And this mystery cut on my finger is starting to hurt again, so I think I need to dunk it in some peroxide before I get going. Being adjacent to other paper is making it hurt more. So we have the Seeker of Flames. I'll hold these up in a second. I can't hold them up and dunk my knuckle in peroxide at the same time. Karma, which is in place of Judgment. That's 20. Seeker of Flames is the Page of Wands. We have Sekhmet on there. Ascension, which is the World in this card, in this deck. And to clarify, I have Abundance, which is the Empress, but it's inverted. And the Ace of Flames, so Ace of Wands. Oh, that really hurts though. I don't know how I cut my finger. It's like, because I have chronic pain, and because I'm a ginger, I don't always register new injuries until a while later, and then I'm left wondering how how it happened. So, probably cut it doing dishes because there were some big knives in there yesterday. But we'll see. Okay. Put this down here. Oh, it's tingly now. That means it's working. Okay. So the Seeker of Flames. How it do upright. So we have somebody worshipping Sekhmet or beseeching her for advice, let's put it that way. So I'm sort of in a no ship zone. Oh, you know what? I've never noticed this before. The Seeker of Flames has this torch that's in all of these Flames cards. And it doesn't have fire, and Sekhmet has eternal fire. How about that? Sekhmet usually strength, though. And on her own. And then Karma, which is Judgment. This is an 11 or a 1. So Judgment, Karma. Notice this ripple is round, and then this one is square, and then there's one that's sort of heart-shaped or triangular inside, and there's this lotus flower up here with Karma. Sort of like dropping down into a different cycle. Oh, although here we have Ascension, too. So I have 20 and 21 right next to each other, which is weird. I hardly ever get this card, too. So this is the world. I'm ascending into a different world after completing my karma. Here, it's Seeker of Flames is kind of like starting to figure out what your ultimate life purpose is. Right? It's like, give me the strength to face my shadow, give me this, right? Because the fire illuminates the darkness. You know, give me the strength to follow my gut instincts. But the clarifier between these two is the Empress inverted. It says it's called abundance in this deck. Right? How am I to complete my journey when I'm just trying to find out how to be in my own energy, how to truly align myself with my soul purpose when I'm always coming up empty? This is the stress, right? All effort, no output. You know, is this my shit karma? Like, what's going on here? But this reading is sort of saying maintain course to ascend. And that seems kind of like, you know, wish in one hand and crap in the other. This is the stress. Like, the stress here is nothing seems to be happening. I seem to be losing more than I'm gaining. You know, it's like I'm trying to do this. Like, Sekhmet, what's up here? Like, what am I not doing right? Like, how come I suck at this? It's giving me a little bit like trying to get information from your higher self. But the higher self here is literally your higher self because you've gone within to the core. It's not just like talking to my angel, like Melissa Etheridge. Somebody's also making me think of Johnny Lang. He has a song called Angel of Mercy that he put out when he was like 18. I think that was like one of the 2 songs that I knew already when I saw him live. Let's see what this is. A Blessing on Your Health, number 9. So we have a dragon here, which is a fire elemental. We have red here, which is associated with that. I'm getting that there's like a need for grounding, but 9 can be Virgo energy as the Hermit. But A Blessing on Your Health makes me think 9 Pentacles. A lack of abundance could be, usually when I see pentacles inverted, the abundance as having stuff, it makes me think I'm sick, I don't have energy. I don't have food. I don't have resources. Right? How am I supposed to manifest without the resources? The stress is making me sick. It's pulling this alignment out. But the 9, okay, look at this. 3 squared is 9. Negative 3 squared is still 9. There's an energy here that is kind of like, it's almost like I'm seeing like a manual reset. It's kind of like in Jurassic Park when the lightning takes out the fences and they have to go to the electric building and manually reset things, and the dinosaurs are chasing them and trying to eat them and stuff. But it's making me think of like, hurry, I'm losing power, we're having a brownout, and then all of a sudden it's like once you turn it off and then turn it on again, like the systems are all go. And there's something kind of weird that's happening here, and it's not even like a hitting rock bottom. It's like it's like there's a clog in the system, right? I'm kind of seeing it like a bathroom pipe and like a clogged artery at the same time, especially if it's related to stress. And if it's health too, it might be like, there's a chunk of stuff in my artery that's blocking it, and now I can't breathe, I don't have the energy, I'm exhausted, and so on. And it's like, it's also kind of like a roadblock too. The traffic's backed up for 3 miles. Now the traffic's backed up for 9 miles. But it's like all of a sudden, once the traffic gets too backed up, it's like there starts to be detours at a certain point. There starts to be, like, we're not going to get anybody through this road because it's washed out, right? You can't cross it. But if we close the road and then rebuild it, there's still going to be like another 3 weeks of cars backed up. But once that sort of doubling down of the friction happens, it opens up the way. And it kind of makes no sense. But again, this negative 3 squared is still 9. And it's like, the message here is to stay the course, because once this low charge doubles itself, once it sort of multiplies by itself, it's going to create this sort of healing moment, which kind of makes no sense, but it's like there's this weird mathematical thing happening here. I want to get another card. This is really a 6-card reading, but I do want to get another card because there's more to be said about that abundance, because I feel like people aren't going to understand what I'm saying. It's like a critical anti-mass. I'm kind of feeling like 9 days. And I don't know if it has to do with the moon cycles or not. Just trying to shuffle these cards out. Really? A whole stack. Ugh. So 41, a blessing for solace and hope. This is that sort of, it's cold in here, lack of abundance. This is kind of Five of Pentacles energy. I feel left out. It's stressful. It's like, this is like a field of dreams. It's hard to notice, but I did notice it when we finally got it on DVD. In Field of Dreams, not only did he plow down his field and build a baseball, like his corn, and build a baseball field, but there was like an entire winter and into the next summer. Because there's a scene where he's looking out the window and it's like Christmas time. And he's sitting there and there's nothing happening. And he's like, man, I blew through all those resources and now I'm in this state of lack, and there's like less abundance, like there's less crops, there's less money, and we're getting screwed here. And it's like a blessing for solace and hope in that winter, the winter of the discontent. Let's see what all these other cards that had to come out. Two of Crystals, Two of Pentacles inverted, Ten of Orbs. That's that stress, the pain. Like, stick a fork in me, I'm done. Six of Flames, right? I don't feel like I'm winning. Feels like crap. It's a tower moment. But it's like a tower that's like twisting. It's like a distortion in the space-time continuum. It's like a hallucinogenic. And we have the Ace of Chalices inverted, so the Ace of Cups. This is depression. Depression, like I'm not getting anywhere. This is painful. But this Two of Crystals is trying to make a decision. It's like, I don't have a choice, like, at this point. I see 13, a death cycle, and I see the Tower as well. But again, it's like a kaleidoscope moment. This is a 5. 41 breaks down to 5, which is a shift or a pivot. Right? It's like you might be standing still and you feel like you're out in the cold, but there's an energy that's sort of twisting and turning. It's like this negative abundance is like letting the air out of a tire of a truck that's stuck under a bridge. I let out 3 pounds of air, but it's still stuck. If I let out 9 pounds of air, it's actually gonna still be able to roll under the bridge. So this is that sort of waiting moment where traffic is all backed up, but as soon as we let enough air out of those tires, that truck will roll right under the overpass, and then everyone else will be able to go through too. And here, the everyone else is basically your own energy. So is this sort of like wailing and bemoaning and depression of like, I can't win no matter what I do, nothing's happening. But there's also this like, I've started to follow my inner core, like my drive of who I am as a person. And once you're on that path of like, who am I and what am I doing? Not like what I want to be when I grow up. It's like, what is my life purpose? Whether you're like, even if you don't know what it is yet, by the time you overcome this sort of moment of truth that seems to be going on for friggin' ever, it's like the lesson of being separated from yourself is done, and then it's immediately followed by rapid ascension. Right? In the meantime, when you're like, Sekhmet, help me, she comes back and she's like, a blessing on your health. Right? It's like sort of the only option during this stress moment is self-care. Right? What are you doing? Hanging out with your friends, trying to stay calm. I'm depressed. Like, my cup is empty. But the dragon's like, well, you know, I'll just get you some more wine here and we'll get that cup going. I'm just going to hang out with you. So it's sort of like hang out with yourself. In this case, hang out probably with your inner child, maybe, because there's some Virgo energy. And Virgo is also, in general, Virgo, the inner child of the Empress, a pre-Empress, right? A princess. And it doesn't matter if you're masculine or feminine, it's just this general idea. Also a seeker in some decks, the page is a princess as well. And it does look like a feminine here, but can't always judge. So this definitely could be, especially there's a feminine here as well. This is a masculine though. Doesn't really matter. There's a lot of feminines on these cards. So this could definitely be something that's dealing with feminine energy, but in that way it's sort of like the nurturing, creative life force energy, and it could be a nurturing of yourself. It could very well be a sacral chakra issue. Although here it looks more like it's a root chakra issue. So there's this idea of self-care, of grounding as much as possible, you know, getting red energy, thinking about your feet growing into the ground and releasing the stress, right? Listening to, I don't know if it's 7 hertz or what it is, but the earth frequency, the ohm, it's essentially self-care while going through the eye of the needle. Because for some reason this depression and tower moment is it's sort of like a test of the will, but it does, the cards do indicate that the only choice now is to stay on the path of, you know, once you've got that golden ring that's actually your solar chakra, you've got to stay in that. You have to have the confidence in yourself to keep following that path, even though it might seem like, oh no, what have I done? Like everything sucks now. Like there literally is no other path but to be yourself, to follow that intuition, to have some self-confidence in whatever task or endeavor that is calling you. And that can be very stressful, especially if, you know, because it takes a lot of energy to switch from, you know, just doing what people tell you to doing what you tell you to do. And whether that's your higher self telling you, where did she go? Whether it's your higher self telling you or your guides or whatever, it can be very stressful. It takes a lot of energy to make huge changes in your life. Right, so that's what the stress is. It's self-care in the interim, grounding, and reminding yourself that following yourself, listening to yourself, listening to your gut instinct is sort of the only path that is going to create this rapid shift into a higher vibration of the life experience. Alright, so that's stress. If you'd like more information on stress, probably Roadblock Moguls would be helpful. It's a reading that I offer. Got some other readings too. They're all down in the description box underneath here. Just get that. It's probably better before I messed with it. So if you found this reading interesting, helpful, useful in some way, please consider donating, energy exchange, hit that tip jar, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. And if you are getting your reading, go ahead and email me and we'll get that set up. I've got coloring books, dark poetry, merch, prints, actual art items. There's a coupon code here for Etsy, 17% off 3 or more items. If you go through the link tree, that code should pop right in. I got some social media here, and sometimes I say things that are wry and comical, if you're into that. What else am I doing? I think that was the whole spiel. Everything here is through the link tree. So email and social media and Etsy. Everything's through the link tree. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.